Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Tonight Show podcast for today, the 26th of June, live on YouTube. Hello, guys. Busy week ahead, Formula One's back, the movie's released. I won't give you any spoilers because I've watched it, but certainly surprises along the way is all I'm going to say on that one. I'm joined by Late Party Sports' Zach Chambers to round up all the latest news. Hello, Zach.
Hello, Charlie. Hello.
Well, yes, a lot of you guys, if you're heading down to that cinema this weekend or you're going there tonight to watch the film, just enjoy it. Brad Pitt starring in that film as the lead actor. So, yeah. Directed by Lewis Hamilton. Interesting news on that one. Well, Trackside F1 returns this weekend. More on that later. I want to start off with my plank of the week this week. And this plank of the week is the Formula E's Nick de Vries, who gets the nomination this week. Now, we're going to start with the Formula E. I want to start with motorsport again this week because I enjoy starting with it, actually. Now, Jakarta saw varying strategy. It saw plenty of chaos. And it ended up being, a first ever victory in Formula E for Dan Ticktum in a team that's a few years ago. Do you remember this team called Neo a few years ago? Well, it turns out they actually won a race. Well done to them. Nick de Vries causing a very clumsy collision on Jake Dennis. I mean, moving under braking, yeah. We all know why Romain Grosjean got penalised for that many years ago at Silverstone when Daniel Ricciardo came on the radio complaining when he was driving for McLaren back then. Well, turns out that's what happens when you get a penalty for it because he ended up losing. Jake Dennis ended up losing from me. I think they both retired, actually. I think de Vries ended up, they retired. De Vries, they both finished down the order, actually. Anyway, there was quite a few mechanical retirements in that race. More on that now. Also, the result for Cooper Kiro, as they're now called, Dan Ticktum winning that race. Eduardo Mortara second. Nico Muller was third. Antonio Felix da Costa was fourth in that race as well. Tag Heuer Porsche. Cassidy was fifth. Nick Cassidy there. McLaren was sixth and seventh. Barnard ahead of Sam Bird. Buemi eighth. The fastest lap Sebastian Buemi. Robin Fry's ninth. And Oliver Rowland obviously gets the final point. But again, Rowland having another weekend where he was off the pace. Which surprised me, actually, because he's leading the championship. But everyone else, will eat into his lead. And when you look at, the driver's standings, it's clear to me that McLaren can certainly make him. I mean, so there's a big gap still, 60 odd points. But a P13 and a P10 in the last two races isn't a lot for Ollie Rowland at this rate as well. Verline was 11th, Evans, Degrassi, Nato, Verne, Beckman, Jake Dennis, as I mentioned, got pole position, so got them extra points. Sadly, got involved in that collision with Nick de Vries, who ended up actually retiring from the race. So did Stoffel Van Dorn, Jake Hughes, I think Maxi Gunter as well also retired. I think there was more mechanical issues in collisions that affected their races. And I think the weather actually changed as well. I think it was the weather changed. It was a chaotic race. I mean, Zach, Zach, what did you make to this Formula E race in Jakarta? Certainly plenty of chaos, including Nick de Vries and Jake Dennis coming together.
Yeah, a lot of action, particularly on Jakarta. It was, I think it was dry for most of the race, actually, if you think about it, because I actually got up to watch it at 9 o'clock in the morning, which was just about late enough for me to get up and watch it. But Nick de Vries, clumsy stuff overall by him. But my many congratulations goes to Dan Ticktum. Now, we kind of write him off as sort of the bad boy of motorsports, and just sometimes people think he's the general knobberhead. But in this instance, his driving seems to have matured this year. And fair play, because this is examples where he shines very well and he can be a good driver. And he's actually showed it this week, last weekend, by winning in Jakarta as well. Really fabulous stuff overall from him. And it's just it's really good to see that he's finally on winning the top step as well. So you just say Mortara behind as well in second, and then Nico Muller, what a drive from him, 13th to third to reach on the podium. It's a great job. I mean, I like these Formula E cars. I like them because they're you're having to save battery, but you're bunching up the pack as well, and it causes a lot of unpredictability.
Mm-hmm.
And Carter is one of those as well that it's not always like necessarily easy to overtake on, but still it can make for an entertaining race. Mortara second, Nico Muller third. Great job from them as well. Costa fourth. Nick Cassidy was in fifth. Taylor Barnard, unlucky race for him, sixth position as well, despite finishing qualifying. Just missing out on the E-pole the other day as well. Sam Bird, seventh position. Good drive for him from 11th. 8th was Sebastian Bray. Roland Fries finishing the points after starting dead last. Impressive job. Oliver Rowland, despite getting the single point, having a lackluster weekend, has actually extended his championship lead by 1 point. And depending on the results in Berlin, he may well end up as champion by the end of it. Would you believe it or not? As well. I mean, it's quite. Despite the fact we've all had these different winners, it's quite amusing to see that Oliver Rowland is still out on top. As you can see there, he's 69. Verline is 69 behind Oliver Rowland. And that tells you something as well. So technically, if you add up, possible fastest points, pole positions, fastest laps, and so, Rowland could come out this weekend being champion before going into London. There's only 4 rounds left. It's all double headers in Berlin and in London. And he could well end up winning this thing if as long as he has a good result. And he would have enough to win it as well. So, Rowland in 10th. Then we go bound to see Verline 11th. Was really poor again. It did not capitalise from a really poor weekend from Rowland. Mitch Evans 12th. Lucas Di Grassi 13th. Norman Atto 14th. Jonathan Vernon, unlucky for him, 15th. David Beckman 16th. Jake Dennis, wow, what a disaster with that obviously collision with Stoffel Van Dorn. The pole sitter obviously gets 3 points for the pole.
That was Nick de Vries that collided.
Nick de Vries, sorry. Disaster there as well. Zane Maloney 18th as well. Also a bad result for him. The DNS with Nick de Vries with a really bad avoidable collision. Stoffel Van Dorn was on. Jake Hughes and Maxine Gunter all did not finish the race as well. So very poor stuff from them overall. As I mentioned, next time round, in not this weekend, coming in a couple of weeks' time, I should say as well. We're going to a double header at Berlin. We all know that one. Very, very good overtaking circuit. Very exciting racing circuit. Obviously, Berlin, one of the best races on the calendar, I have to say as well. And then that's the double header as well. And then ALC, when we get to the sort of mid to end July, we're going to be in London for the finale. We may or may not have a championship planned by then, but who knows? Remains to be seen as well. But well done. Dan Tickton was a brilliant winner, I think, as well. And that was, some would say, surprising, but overall a brilliant winner.
26th and 27th of July. Stay tuned for the London one because I might be going to it if I can get a ticket for it. I'm looking into this. I'm looking into it. I mean, I've never been to a Formula One race. They're so expensive, but Formula E, maybe. And I've been to the Excel Centre. It's not that far away. So I've been to the F1 exhibition there. So a Formula E race on the cards possibly could happen. Be nice to see some different things as well. But yes, certainly a championship there, looking very interesting as well. Zach, before we move on and do the net IndyCar, what would your plank of the week be this week?
It's politics based, so I might as well get it out of the way. Well, plank of the week this week. My main plank of the week has to be I can't believe I'm about to say this, but the Labour Party itself. If you haven't seen the news, and it looks like, thankfully, the cool heads have prevailed in this, and that finally the embarrassment that potentially the Prime Minister was about to face next week may not be happening now. But outside the NATO summits and the G7, which was again good stuff for Keir Starmer on the world stage, it was a complete embarrassment at home. Labour are set to climb down on their welfare reforms because of 120 of their own backbenchers signing a reasoned amendment, basically calling for a delay, basically not supporting the Universal Credit and Personal Independence Bill, which is due to come into Parliament for its second reading on Tuesday. Now, what happened is that a majority of MPs were very unhappy with some of the provisions in the bill about cutting the PIP element, cutting the amount of universal credit that a sick person can get as well, and looking at how much people could be put into poverty because of the figures. And yeah, there was so many. It was quite a powerful amendment. You had the 14-15 Labour chairs of select committees all signing the reasoned amendment. Opposition parties have come onto it as well, including the Greens, the SNP, Plaid Cymru, as well, and the Liberal Democrats. But Keir Starmer was about to face a complete humiliating, embarrassing defeat next week on the welfare changes. I mean, he's almost tried to do this plough through and no concessions sort of thing, but it has not worked. And the mood with Labour benchers was really not happy. So it looks like they have now conceded, and some elements of the PIP and some of the universal credit elements as well. It looks like those of the existing claimants will now no longer be affected rather than be affected of it as well. And yeah, that's a big climb down from the original position. But it's embarrassing for the Labour leadership that they had to have 120 MPs sign that reasoned amendment in the first place as well. But yeah, it's another U-turn from the Labour leadership, unfortunately. And they get the plank of the week for just complete mismanagement of it. And I'm glad they did it, because I think if I was an MP, I would have voted that down. I do not think some of the changes are fair, and they're just. I know it's all about reducing the benefits bill, which I mean I'm fully supportive of trying to find ways to get people back into work, but some of the elements on there was just too extreme, and would cause more harm than intended. So I'm glad that has now been. Looks like element has been weakened quite a bit. So it looks like the rebellion of 120 is no longer going to be the case, and that bill's going to get passed on second reading. But still, a humiliating defeat, a humiliating week for the Labour government at home, with the headlines for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah, it's not ideal, isn't it, for the Labour Party? And I'm sure many of you guys who voted for them are in trouble right now with that bill. And Conservatives and Reform certainly, Conservatives are slipping down the polls like anything, and Reform certainly are rising across the country. So anyway, we'll stay tuned for that. Obviously, now we're going to go back to the motor racing. I'll come on to we kind of really have explained the Labour story. I mean, Zach, whilst we're here, obviously, we're going to do the NASCAR, the IndyCar now. As well. The winner of this race, we can't really say much. It's a sweet six for Alex Palou. Alex Palou, 55 laps, ferocious, frenetic uncertainty. Alex Palou and Chip Ganassi, standing victory lane. He stretched the fuel in his number 10 Chip Ganassi Honda, racing Honda, to the end. Only 6th victory in just 9 starts. Is the first IndyCar Series driver to take checker flag at least 6 times this season. Will Power back in 2011. And, well, I mean, that race was crazy. We also saw as well an action race is now 93 points clear of Carl Kirkwood in the championship now after that one. Also as well, there was more action in the race. As Dixon previously pit in lap 38, 15 laps ago, his previous caution. Dixon's gamble didn't play off, 2-time champion as well. Rosenqvist then made his final stop on lap 42. And yeah, Zach, what can you say? Alex Palou again? He's certainly getting ever closer now to that championship trophy.
It's bizarre we're talking about it now, but yeah, it's not surprising in the dominant form that he's done in as well. But yeah, Alex Palou, again, only 2 winners again this season. They've been Kyle Kirkwood 3 times and Alex Palou 6 times. Alex Palou done it again this time as well. I mean, strategically come off well and saved enough fuel ahead of Felix Rosenqvist because they were tight on fuel at the very end of the race. But Palou managed to save the best. The likes of Ericsson didn't, unfortunately, in Armstrong. They very unlucky for them not to save correctly as well. But yeah, it was a crucial victory for another big win for Alex Palou as well. Unlucky from Felix Rosenqvist, who was close, but just didn't have the pace there to catch Palou towards the end as well. He was getting closer, but not enough as well. And then another good result for Santino Ferrucci in 3rd position as well. Kyle Kirkwood in 4th position. And then you have Marcus Armstrong in 5th, Kiffin Simpson in 6th, Devin Lucas 7th, Nolan Siegel in 8th. Another good result for Nolan Siegel, actually. Very good. Decent result for him. 9th for Scott Dixon, and ran out the top 10 was Rinus VK as well. Then you had Louis Foster in 11th. Below is Scott McLaughlin, Alex Rossi, Will Power, Callum Ilott, Colton Hurst, Pato Ward, Christian Ramson, Devon D. Francesco, Graham Rahal, Marcus Ericsson, Connor Daly, Christian Lundgaard, Joyce Newgarden went out due to collision. Stingray Rob same as well. That was a biggie. And Robert Schwartzman as well, also with collisions as well. That forced them out the race as well. But yeah, that was very strategically interesting, I think, because it was the result of Palou saving enough fuel to be able to win that race. And yeah, went very, very strategically well. I think the next race is at Mid-Ohio, isn't it? Yeah, Mid-Ohio for that one as well. And yeah, that will be the next race on July the 6th as well.
Yeah, British Grand Prix Day to be precise, July the 6th. Yeah. Next week? It's literally a couple of weeks' time on Sunday. Yeah, Honda Indy 200 at Mid-Ohio. Last year's winner was actually Pato O'Ward. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how, obviously, this next race goes in IndyCar. But Alex Palou, Cole Cutter just winning races this year. Wow. I was going to say NASCAR. That was Shane Van Gisbergen, but no, he's not in IndyCar. So, yeah, I haven't, by the way, watched NASCAR recently. So I'm going to take NASCAR off this week. So yeah, actually, we'll review it. Might as well. We've got some time. We've got some time to do NASCAR. We'll go over it now. So Pocono, Pocono race, the Great American Getaway 400, top 10 of that one. Well, I need to catch up on God knows how many NASCAR races. I've not been watching them recently. I've been too busy watching Formula 1 and Formula E, but I certainly will the IndyCar. So the NASCAR action, it was Chase Briscoe who claimed the win ahead of Denny Hamlin, Ryan Blaney, Chris Buescher, Chase Elliott, John Hunter Nemechek 6th, Carl Larson 7th, Ryan Preece 8th, Brad Keselowski 9th, and Austin Cindric 10th. Zach, what was your assessment on this latest race at Pocono?
Yeah, it was an interesting one because it was rain delayed as well, so they didn't actually start off until like 9:30 UK time. Thankfully, I think they managed to get the whole race in, if I remember as well, which was good to see and really important. So it was Chase Briscoe winning that one, and yeah, good drive for him as well, and finishing ahead of Denny Hamlin. That was a very crucial result there as well. Then you have Ryan Blaney in 3rd, decent again. Chris Buescher 4th, Elliott 5th. That's right. There, John Hunter Nemechek in 6th, with Carl Larson in 7th, Preece in 8th, Keselowski in 9th, and Austin Cindric in 10th position as well. Decent race overall. I have to say that was. I should mention from a TV perspective as well. I think it was Amazon Prime's last race of the season for NASCAR. I mean, they'll be back next season, but yeah, that I think that I've seen a lot of praise for their broadcast coverage over the last 5 or so weeks as well. By the way, they're generally, from the bits I've seen, way better than Fox. doing a great job overall on that one. The next 5 races are on TNT in America, not in TNT in the UK. It's on Premier in the UK, if you're wondering. But there's a new element that we're going to be looking forward to for the next 5 races as well. And it starts off in Atlanta, which is obviously the Saturday night race as well. There is a new little element to NASCAR this year, which is called the NASCAR In-Season Challenge. It starts off next week at Atlanta. So what it is, it's the tournament includes 32 drivers who are paired against each other via their seeds. The highest finishing driver in each matchup moves on. So, for example, if Hamlin finishes 5th and Dylan, like Austin Dillon's 25th, Hamlin moves on to next. Denny Hamlin is on to next round of the NASCAR In-Season Challenge. The NASCAR Season Challenge is 5 races, so we eliminate obviously the first 4 are knockout, and then when in the 5th race, we're left with the last 2 drivers, and the winner of that In-Season Challenge, whoever finishes first, will get $1 million added to their prize purse as well. I think that's how it works as well. So this is the In-Season Challenge to look out for round 1. So the challenge are Denny Hamlin will be up against Ty Dillon. Kyle Busch will be up against Brad Keselowski. Alex Bowman will be up against Joe Logano. Bubba Wallace will be up against Luis Suarez. Joe Nemechek will be against Josh Berry. Chase Elliott will face Austin Dillon. Ross Chastain will face Brandon Jones. Christopher Bell will face Ricky Stenhouse Jr. And then onto the right-hand side, Chase Briscoe will face Noah Gragson. Ryan Preece will face William Byron. Ryan Blaney will face Chase Hovencar. Carl Larson will take on Tyler Reddick. Michael McDowell will face AJ Allmendinger. Ty Gibbs will take on Josh Haley. Smith will take on Austin Cindric, and Chris Bush will take on Todd Gilliland as well, by the way. And whoever finishes out of those drivers, whoever finishes first, whoever finishes ahead of each other in their respective round, will go on to the next round. So, for example, if, say, Hamlin beats Ty Dillon, then Hamlin will face either Kyle Busch or Brad Keselowski. It could be one of them. So it could be Keselowski versus Hamlin, for example, in the next round. But yeah, that's the In-Season Challenge explained. It's basically a sort of bronze prize pot, but a knockout sort of format as well. And it starts off in Atlanta at 7 p.m. Eastern time, which is midnight Saturday night as well. They'll be going for they'll be really going against each other to try and get £1 million in the prize box by the end of the 5-round series. So yeah, that'll be NASCAR, a new element of NASCAR to look forward to next week.
Yeah, they're turning NASCAR into like what I call a mini football league. Certainly going to be interesting to see how that gets on there as well. Wow, interesting news from the NASCAR there on that new format. Moving on now to Formula One, coming back to Austria this weekend. Does anyone remember what happened last year between Max Verstappen and Lando Norris? Yeah, collisions. Norris was out. Please, McLaren, do not collide this weekend. If I watch it, oh no, I'm going to be rooting for this team. I don't want a Canada vibe. By the way, I watched the reaction video the other week. If you're only Victoria, one of these YouTubers, okay, one of these pundits, basically one of the fans who was reacting. I watched her video, okay, and yeah, I got a bit. Was a bit humiliated. I was from the stream the other day, like messaging on TikTok, like, oh no, look at the McLaren curse has come back. McLaren fans like me and her, bloody hell, there's like so many of them now. Even people I follow on social media, like, when they were colliding the other week, I was like, what was that? Oh my god. Anyway, please keep it clean this weekend and at Silverstone. We're heading to Austria this weekend. Red Bull's home track. So you expect Max Verstappen to be very quick around here, and he's very good around this track, as we know. But yes, this series, obviously 3 DRS zones, pretty easy. They're all down the 3 long back straights in question, so not really much on DRS front. What we do know in the news this week, Sebastian Verstappen has been backed Sebastian Vettel over potential Red Bull advisory role, as well. In more things as well this week, we also had the F1 movie premiere, F1 the movie premiere as well, and even, funnily enough, he wasn't done yet with the film as Brad Pitt decided to take a McLaren 2023 F1 car for a test shakedown run at the Circuit of the Americas, or COTA. I mean, goodness me, he travels from London back to his home country and then decides to shake down an F1 car at the Circuit of the Americas. Very, very interesting there. This was Brad Pitt there driving the car, the MCL 60, of course, offered by McLaren CEO Zak Brown. McLaren previously teased the link up on their social media photo. Him show the initials BP along the team. It's sunny day in Austin. It's big back experience. But I got 297 this week. Really wanted to hit 200. It hurts a little. 3 miles per hour short on the straight. That was Austin. You can also buy your Apex GP merch as well. Please do not give too much away from the film if people haven't watched it. God, the whole mainstream of F1 is like, yeah, as well. I know Apex GP, of course, do run in the film. That's the team, by the way. And they filmed, by the way, last year. So, yeah. And also, as well, there's been some news about Frederick Vasseur potentially could be leaving Ferrari, even though he's denied the rumours. Davide Valsecchi saying to Sky Italy that the reports, certainly they are shooting down the reports, despite the team's performance this season not being the best. And also, as well, in some more news as well this week, there seems to be gaining traction ahead of a return to South Africa. Potentially, Kyalami could be joining the calendar in the next few years. If it gets the grade 1 go ahead to be grade 1 listed. Obviously, it has to be upgraded, like Zandvoort was. But, racing Kyalami could be on the cards. Zach, what do you make to the recent F1 news? And also, Brad Pitt driving McLaren's 2023 F1 car. He's certainly gearing up for this film here, I can tell.
Oh, he certainly is. And it's now premiering in certain cinemas. It's now here in the UK as well. So, that's exciting. But yeah, so as part of his promotion, he's driven McLaren have kindly invited him to drive the actual 2023 F1 car, which is not just some F2 replica, which you see in the movie, but an actual F1 car from previous years. Obviously, but Brad Pitt does play Sonny Hayes in the movie for Apex GP. But I think it was a great gesture for McLaren to give him that test run to see what an actual F1 car is like, not just an F2 replica. But yeah, it was great to see. And he clearly was enjoying it as well. And yeah, it's great to see. And he thoroughly did enjoy it. But nevertheless, as well, going back to this weekend, it is the Austrian Grand Prix. It's obviously going to be a Red Bull sort of fan favourite circuit, as it's Red Bull's home circuit. I have to say as well, you kind of see it could be set up that they could do well this weekend. But then again, they're also bringing upgrades this weekend, I should mention. So whether that have an effect will be interesting to see as well. But it's an important update, pair of upgrades for Red Bull this weekend as well, in terms of their car performance as well. But yeah, Lando Norris will try to avoid the misery of crashing into people, just like he did last year and just like he did last week with Oscar Piastri. This is where he cannot be afford to making any more mistakes now in Lando Norris. It's now sort of going away from him because of his driving anyway. It's interesting to hear the rumours about Sebastian Vettel potentially getting a role within Red Bull Racing itself. I mean, that'd be brilliant, I have to say as well. I mean, any way to get Sebastian Vettel back into an F1 role would be brilliant. Even if it's just ambassador, that'd be fantastic. I don't think he would even drive, but as well. But it'd be great to see him back in the paddock in some form. And also as well, the rumours about possible Grand Prix as well. We would talk about, Alex Albon's hyping up potential for Thailand to be on there in the future, which would be great. Another Asian race would be brilliant. And then there's talk about bringing Formula One to Africa finally after many. It's been rumoured for some time, but it just hasn't materialized yet. And I'd like to see it materialize at some point. I wouldn't want to see Rwanda done, but I'd like to see South Africa try and do that at some point. That'd be great to watch. I have to say, bring a load of community there as well. It'd be great to see. But yeah, Formula One's back this weekend. And so if you want an alternative to actually watching the actual Formula One, you can watch the movie version of it in cinemas right now across the United Kingdom. It's on cinemas this weekend. I'm going to see it on Saturday. I'm looking forward to it as well. I'm really looking forward to it. And yes, well, F1's back again this weekend.
Promise you guys, I won't give any spoilers out, but obviously I did attend the launch day yesterday of the film. So all I can say is if you watch the film, watch your review of it. That's all I'm going to say. But yes, anyway, though, time for the action. Lights out and away we go on Sunday for the Austrian Grand Prix. Very exciting. Do you know what? Last time was so rubbish. It was a snooze fest after the time last time. So certainly will be interesting as well. Obviously, next weekend as well is the British Grand Prix at Silverstone on July the 6th. So make sure you go and head into Silverstone next week. All of the advice on travelling up to circuit, camping, obviously all the show times and the track action timetable will be available on the F1 website. Also available on Silverstone's website as well for more details. But it's going to be an interesting British Grand Prix next week. I can't wait for it. Obviously, the company started July the 6th. This weekend, we're in Austria, part of the double header. Now, let's head on to the normal news now. Well, Zach, I want to start off with this. Donald Trump, the US president, decides to break tense ranks with Israel and Iran and swears on the camera during an interview following the conflict intensifying between both sides.
So we talk. There's talk about don't know what the F they're doing, and then there's also this week talks about Donald Trump being daddy. Donald Trump really has pumped it up this week. Let's just say that. This is in fact the response to the fact that if you may have not seen the news over the weekend as well, there was quite a lot of events happening. So the US striked Iran's nuclear facilities. How effective it has been, we don't know. A lot of very mixed briefings going on. CNN had an early report which suggested that actually it set Iran's nuclear program back months rather than years, which then the Trump administration had a total meltdown about. And claimed that it was all fake news and that CNN should fire its porters, but yet they're looking into a leak investigation at the same time as well, so it must be real, even though they don't like it. And then we had the weird spectacle of questions and then leaked texts going on around as well, of Mark Root to Donald Trump, and then Donald Trump somehow being called daddy. Please. This is not, I don't know what this is really. Oh, this is not Men's Station or something like that. I don't want to go too into detail because that's just, I'll turn this too grim, but it was a spectacle or a saliva of how brilliant America will. I'm like, come on, man. The US did manage to get Israel and Iran to do a ceasefire for now in terms of the bombings and the war against each other. I mean, I thought it was going to last for days and days and days. We're all believing it's going to last years, and then suddenly ceasefire after the very tepid response by Iran to the US bases, which was minuscule and really gave advance warning. So just a few rockets here and there to say we've done our bit for propaganda. We don't need to take any more actions. And then US announces a ceasefire between Israel and Iran, very interestingly enough as well, after a bit of fighting beforehand. But yeah, I'm glad that things have cooled now that tensions are there and diplomacy can take priority. But I hope it does, and hope all sides get back around the table to see what is well. But I'm just, how much Iran's nuclear programs have been damaged, we don't quite know. The US, the Trump administration are absolute confident that everything's been completely obliterated, and it's been set back years and years and years. Whilst the Intel communities are suggesting, not sure about that, bud. Maybe a few months, but maybe not a few years. It appears that Iran may have been able to move some of the enrichment that they use across in advance to other sites that we kind of don't know about, which is not great. But yeah, I have to say, it's no one seems to know what's going on with Iran. Have they got the capacity for nuclear weapons? Have they got the have they been set back months? They've been set back years. We don't really know at this point now. And I'm just reading the latest Intel brief, which Chris Murphy's come out saying, no, I don't think it has been set back years. It's set back months. So yeah, not great. And we'll have to have clarity. And we'll see what happens there onwards, see what the actual assessments are.
Well, this is what Donald Trump had to say to the media the other day, following him getting tensions with Israel and Iran.
I didn't like plenty of things I saw yesterday. I didn't like the fact that Israel unloaded right after we made the deal. They didn't have to unload. And I didn't like the fact that the retaliation was very strong. But in all fairness, Israel unloaded a lot. And now I hear Israel just went out because they thought it was violated by one rocket that didn't land anywhere. That's not what we want, I'll tell you. And I'm telling you, I'm not happy about that, Israel, either. You know, when I say, okay, now you have 12 hours, you don't go out in the first hour and just drop everything you have on them. So I'm not happy with them. They basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what they're doing. Do you understand that?
Wow. President Trump decides to throw the F-bomb on camera. Wow. Oh, God. That was powerful enough, wasn't it? Zach, as well, he's also been promoting the Big Beautiful Bill today in front of the media. What do you make of that?
Yeah, well, it appears that there's not a big, beautiful consensus on that at the moment. There are big, mad Republican Freedom Caucus members that are big, mad about some of the provisions. There's moderates that are big, mad about the SALT provisions. And yeah, it just appears that lots of Republicans are big, mad about it. So whether we have one big, beautiful bill remains to be seen at this stage, without concessions from sides that will get upset one way or the other.
Well, that's the latest news on it's a tariff bill or something, I'm pretty sure. But anyway, moving on now to more news this week that's been discussed as well. According to this, there was more news. Iran, we spoke about obviously Iran as well. Israel strike at Gaza, planet kills 18 people. Pound hits for new hot dollar as Trump rattles the dollar. That was according to BBC News there. And Zach, what do you make of Reform UK getting a new youngest head of HQ head following a departure?
If I'm correct in saying that HQ head is 18 years old, I think. I mean, bloody hell. Fair play to getting a job at 18. I mean, it shows you we can have votes at 16 if we can have that sort of young age as well. But yeah, Reform have been in a bit of the news this week, for many reasons. Richard Tice has proposed this really weird brick card thing. I can't remember what it's called, where you can get you get a lot non-dons will get like tax-free get tax-free benefits or something like that, or I don't know what it is. I have to look it up. I think so. I don't know what. Let me see what it is actually. Here we go. I don't. Anyway, but there's the 18-year-old. That says 18-year-old Deputy George Flinch. After the new elected Warwickshire one resigned. Rob Howe was in power for 41 days. Said he might decision much regret citing health reasons. Fair enough. That's understandable. Actually, I'm not going to sit there and pretend that I'm going to pretend that's that's not a reason that a legit reason to stand down, because that is understandable, really. But they've left the 18-year-old in charge instead. I mean, an 18-year-old can be in charge of a local authority of $1.5 billion of assets and a revenue budget of around 500 million. Hopefully, he's good at maths. I really hope he is, because the last thing you don't want to be doing is screwing the finances of that council up. I mean, you probably doge the hell out of it, even though they've got so much assets and anything like that as well. But yeah, it's really interesting. But yeah, let's talk about the Britannia card. This is what I was talking about as well. It's proposing a Britannia card that will let wealthy foreigners pay a £250,000 fee to move to the UK, live here exempt from all tax on their foreign assets. All fees received will be distributed Robin Hood style to the 2.5 million lowest paid workers in the UK. But OBR analysis suggests that the cost will be like around 34 billion in 5 years. Another bunch of fantasy economics from Reform UK. Dismal Liz Truss like economics again from them. Have the cake and eat it, promise loads of money, loads of brilliant tax cuts without telling them where the money's coming from. They'll say scrap scrap Green New Deal, blah blah blah, net zero, whatever. No, it wouldn't even save half of that as well. To mean 250,000 to avoid not taxes. I mean that's a cheap, really. They'll take it in an instant. But still, it's a pathetic policy. It's an expensive policy. And again, as a socialist, I do not like that policy at all. We should not allow the rich greed their way to money whilst we poor buggers pay all the taxes. It's just not fair at all.
I don't know. Comment down below, guys, what you make to Reform's new policy announcement. And yeah, that's all I'm going to say on that. It's certainly been an interesting week. Certainly in politics this week, for sure, when it comes to that news. Here in the UK and around the world, and I think it's certainly been interesting, to say the least. Now, in some more news this week as well, we have had plenty of other things I want to mention about as well, from regards to other stuff as well that we're just going to come on to as well. And also, another thing that I wanted to cover quickly. Oh, actually, whilst we're here, we'll do the wrestling whilst we're here, actually. Because just to confirm, Riyadh is hosting the WWE this weekend. This is something, obviously, that comes on in America. But wrestling pay-per-view goes to the Night of Champions. Obviously, this week, you'll be seeing plenty of matches. A Night of Champions in Riyadh. I think it's on about 6 o'clock UK time. It will see men's and ladies finals in the King and Queen of the Ring as well. Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton will be going head to head in that one after Cody Rhodes beat Jey Uso in that semi-final. Randy Orton also won his semi-final as well. Two good friends, of course, Cody and Randy. As well, we'll also see in this one the undisputed WWE Championship, John Cena taking on CM Punk in that one. CM Punk going for a championship shot. Queen of the Ring will be Asuka versus Jade Cargill. United States Championship, the rivalry, they finally turned. Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, current championship holder, against Solo Sikoa as well. Rhea Ripley versus Raquel Rodriguez, black in the bracket street fight there as well. Sami Zayn will face Karrion Kross in that match there as well. So yeah, that is the match card there for Night of the Champions. Night of Champions there in Riyadh, as well. So plenty of matches on in the wrestling this weekend. Also next week as well, we had the Euros on for the football. The England ladies will be taking part in that as well. Some more news will be on football. You click that link as well. And also for all the latest transfer news ahead of the new season coming up in August, for sure as well. So that is pretty much it for us. And also, Zach, more news, because there is another heat alert again.
Yeah, it's supposed to hit the 30s again over potentially Sunday, Monday. Then let me just see my weather forecast and see what it's saying. We are looking at, oh, goodness me, 30 on Sunday to get hot.
Sorry, guys.
Ahead for that one. Oh, yeah, there we go. Sorry, my thing froze a little bit. Yeah, but very warm conditions looking ahead. 30, 31, 31, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Yeah, very uncomfortable conditions if you're working around or anything like that as well. But another spell of 30-degree conditions, not letting off at all. It looks good overall so far for some warm conditions. But yeah, some might find it a bit more comfortable than others. But yeah, 30, 31, 31. Yeah, another a 3-day heat wave is on the way from Sunday onwards.
Yep, that indeed it is. It's going to be certainly getting nice and warm and hot for sure. Now it's time for Now it's time for a musical interlude today. We're going for a brand new single by Ed Sheeran, and this is from F1 the movie. So F1 fans, if you've got your popcorn ready this weekend, or you're sitting around in your McLaren P1 or something, or McLaren Senna, you might know this one, a rock track by Ed Sheeran. This is Drive from F1 the movie. We'll see you in a few minutes' time. Enjoy this one, guys. Yes, that was Ed Sheeran there with the song Drive from the F1 the movie. Yes, guys, that released the other day. The score was created, a bit of a pop rocky track there from Ed Sheeran, driving around what looks to be two F1 cars coming past him, both from Apex GP, in that video there. Zach, obviously the new film release, and we get a banger of a song from Ed Sheeran. I have to say, that's actually one of his best songs, I think, for a long
And
time.
we have a full album of the full I think the soundtrack is out now anyway on it. So I might as well mention the full soundtrack whilst we're here. You got songs like from Don Toliver. You got Rose on there. You got Tate McRae, which seems to be the popular one in the UK charts at the moment, going by what the charts are. That seems to be the most popular one out of the lot, which is not bad at all. So, and then you got songs from Tiesto at the moment. And actually, the full soundtrack, by the way, is coming out tomorrow, I should mention as well, where you will have songs from the likes of Dom Dollar, Burna Boy, Roddy Ricch. Ray's got a song on there as well. Chris Stapleton's got one. Tiesto on there. Madison Beer, Peggy Goo, Mr. Easy, Jamaican artist Daku as well. Good song. It's a good soundtrack as well, by the way. It's really, really good. And I'm sure there'll be certain songs that you will recognize on there. But I'm sure we'll just keep watching. Lose My Mind for me as well. And obviously Drive are the ones that I recognize on as well at the moment as well. So that's out. That's out tomorrow, the whole soundtrack. But there's certain songs on there that are already able to stream and listen to, including the one from Tate McRae and Ed Sheeran as well. That one seems to be the popular one going at the moment.
Yeah, obviously they're all available on Spotify or Amazon Music for them songs for the F1 the movie soundtracks as well. Moving on now to some news. Obviously, we're going to go over Glastonbury now. Zach, obviously the big Worthy Farm Festival, obviously not going to be on in 2026. It takes a 5-year break. Obviously, a 1-year break every certain often. But yes, obviously back this weekend. Lineup not looking kind of a mixed lineup this year for Glastonbury. Obviously, 1975 one of the headliners, obviously this weekend as well. What are your expectations for Glastonbury 2025 at Worthy Farm?
I'm looking to watching some of the festival from home on the BBC because they're broadcasting the majority of the sets live across it. So I'll give you some of the artists that you may be interested. So let's go through tomorrow's lineup, which is, it starts tomorrow. There's been a few surprise acts being announced today, by the way, that you may or may not seen in the media, but there is definitely been 2 TBAs that have been filled out. So I'll give you an example. On the Woodside stage, it's been announced that Lorde, the Australian singer, will be performing on the Woodside stage, the first act there, which is a great addition, by the way. Really good addition as well. Kicking off the show on the Pyramid stage will be Supergrass. Sorry, I'm having a little bit of a moment with my computer again. There we go. That's better. But Supergrass are an English rock band formed in 1993. As well. Then on the Pyramid stage, you got CMAT as well performing second. Very upcoming artist, by the way. She's got a very popular song called Take a Sexy Photo of Me. That's generally the song's name, by the way. But she's performing for the hour as well. Some of her songs on the Pyramid stage. Then you got Burning Spear as well, who I think is, he's very old. Winston Rodney, as he's known as, Jamaican roots reggae artist as well. He's performing in the Pyramid stage in the afternoon, I should mention as well. That's really an interesting one. Now, as you can see there, Charlie, there is a TBA on between 4:55 and 5:30. We think the TBA, going by what media rumors are, is Lewis Capaldi. He is set to release a new song tomorrow, and he is apparently the rumors TBA on that Pyramid stage set on between 4:55 and 5:30. If so, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I hope, and sounds like he's able to perform again, which is brilliant as well. That's fantastic move. And then following on from from what we think will be Lewis Capaldi, we've got Alanis Morissette as well, very familiar artist from 6:15 onwards. And then we get on to the two big acts of the evening from the Friday on the period stage. One I really like, Biffy Clyro, rock band, brilliant band overall. And then the one I really like, who I have seen before, as you remember a few years ago at Finsbury Park, the 1975 will be headlining the Pyramid Stage on the Friday night as well. I cannot wait for that. It'll be a great one. Let's move to the Saturday, where we got the Kaiser Chiefs kicking off the Pyramid Stage on the Saturday. Very familiar name, Brandy Carlisle as well, from 1:30 on the Pyramid Stage. And you got the Script, people familiar with that as well. John Fogerty from 4:30, Patchwork from 6:15. Then it's the two headliners as well on the Pyramid Stage on Saturday. Ray's performing at 8 o'clock, who's also performing at Silverstone on the Friday night as well. So, yeah, I get to watch Ray before I see her at Silverstone on the Friday night. And Neil Young is headlining the Pyramid Stage on Saturday. However, there's a big however with him. He has requested that the BBC do not show his set live. That I think because he has beef with the BBC. So that stage will not be shown live. Instead, I believe the BBC are going to prioritise on the Saturday showing Charlie XCX on the other stage instead, which I think is an excellent move. Fantastic. I love Charlie XCX. So that's a great alternative as well. And then on the Sunday, the final day on the period stage, we've got Selector hitting off at 11:15. We've got then Celeste, great artist, by the way. Brilliant choice as well, Celeste. Great singer from 12:30. The Libertines, indie band from 2 o'clock. Then we got some real classics from 3:40. So from 3:45, getting sort of the headliner spot. Rod Stewart. That's a great one for the headline slot. And then from 6 o'clock onwards, you got Nile Rodgers and Chic. And then obviously following on from some 7:45, got Noah Khan, remember from Sixth Season, and then concluding the Pyramid Stage in Glastonbury for 2025 and for the next 2 years. Olivia Rodrigo is going to absolutely smash that place out from 9:45 in the 9:45 in the evening on the Pyramid Stage as well. Brilliant as well. And I just want to give you some other highlights throughout the festival as well. So you got Rizzle Kicks, Inhalia on the other stages as well. Gracie Abrams as well on that one. On the Saturday, I just want to go to the Saturday on the other stage as well. Some really cool names. Good Neighbours, upcoming rising as well. Weezer, I mentioned Charlie XCX. You've got Doroche as well. There's controversial artist Kneecap, the racist Kneecap, I should say, because they are the ones that encourage people to email the MPs asking to kill their MPs. And for one of the members has been famous for holding the Hezbollah flag on the stage. And just, yeah, there's been quite controversial calls for them, they're set not to be broadcast as well. And then also on the Sunday as well, I should mention, there's just some other stuff on Sunday as well to look forward to. Shabuzi, Snow Patrol, The Prodigy, AJ Tracy, Georgia Smith as well. Lots of familiar names you may recognise as well on that one. But yeah, looking forward to watching Glastonbury as much as I can, really, to be fair. There's a lot going on, so I'll try and watch it in and out as well with the F1 on. But yeah, Glastonbury, one of the big festival headliners of the season as well. Really looking forward to that.
Yeah, we are, and we had obviously the Isle of Wight festival last week as well, didn't we? As well, that was a interesting one. I got a couple of glimpses. I watched a little bit of Ollie Murs' set as well. By the way, he's got a new song coming out. Obviously, Ollie from Essex, of course. By the way, Ollie Murs is an Essex ball from Essex, from Witham. He's doing a big gig. A massive gig actually at Chelmsford City Racecourse next Sunday. British Grand Prix days, if any of you guys have got tickets. He'll be coming back home next Sunday to Essex, so it'd be certainly great to see Ollie back in the home county of Essex, where he was born. Obviously, he used to be on X Factor years ago. Obviously, Justin Timberlake comes next Friday home to Essex as well, next weekend. So it's going to be some big artists coming here to Chelmsford City Racecourse. Will be down the road. I'll keep you more updated on that news. Visit chelmsfordcityracecourse.com for all the latest news regarding horse racing events and concerts. Obviously, if you're watching the Glastonbury Festival this weekend, it is on BBC One or BBC channels as well. Moving on now to Conversation Street this week. Now, in fact, that was part of Conversation Street because we're going to do another thing. Now, I like doing polls where we talk about statistics, YouGov polls, stuff like that. This week, we're talking about the best Coca-Cola soft drinks. Yes. So, as you guys know, Coca-Cola has got loads of different flavors. It's got Coke Zero, Diet Coke, and of course the regular flavored Cokes. Now, you get these in supermarkets. They often recently they've also updated the branding on some of the Coke Zeros as well with names on them, which has been an interesting move. I've seen them across supermarkets. But what we want to look for is the best ones available. Well, this is according to a poll here. Best Coca-Cola soft drink unveiled. Do you agree? Let me know in the comments if you've had any of these drinks. So the soft drink is known worldwide from beverages such as Diet Coke, Coca-Cola Zero, original Coca-Cola, which comes in an iconic red can. Coke even comes in various flavors like lemon, cherry, and vanilla. The company is also responsible for a number of other brands including Sprite, Dr. Pepper, and Schweppes. Now, what's the debate favour on here? What is the most favourite? Now, a Reddit post sparked the debate recently about the most popular Coke flavour. The post fellow asked which users preferred vanilla or cherry. Coke fans were divided within the spread of votes posted both, but others threw an alternative. Some say the now discontinued cherry vanilla flavour was the best combination too. Now, this is what someone put on Reddit. I think Coca-Cola have discontinued the cherry vanilla Coke in the bottle. Haven't seen it in months. Coca-Cola put great question. We decided to discontinue Coca-Cola cherry vanilla due to consumers' taste preference and lifestyle changes constantly change. As a total beverage company, we're always searching the best ways to improve our product portfolio to bring customers as well. Another was Coca-Cola Lime, which recently returned to stores. UK was the best, while a third Reddit user said there can only be one original, which is of course the classic Coke with all of the sugar in it. Well, according to a poll, what their favourite readers came out with, they claimed that with 33,806 votes in 31%, the original Coca-Cola came out on top. The next best, according to a poll at the time of writing, was the Coke Zero Sugar, which received 28,141 votes, 25%. Flavoured Coca-Cola drinks, vanilla, cherry, and lemon, etc. were a close third, receiving 21% of the vote. Diet Coke proved to be Brit's least favourite with 15,944 votes, 14%, but only 8%, 8,863 said they preferred Coca-Cola's other brands, including Sprite, Fanta, and Schweppes. So there is a debate going on here about what is the best flavoured Coke, or, it's one of these things. Personally, I get asked this question a lot because, this is one of the most iconic fizzy drinks brands in the world. They appear, obviously, they appear on a Santa lorry at Christmas, when you get the big red lorries appear, time for the holidays, and you see it on Christmas jumpers, you see the big Coca-Cola bottles coming out. There's a lot of people, obviously now with the rise of Pepsi Max as well, people looking for alternatives. I'm going to bring Zach in on this. Now, Zach, what is your assessment from this poll? Because it seems to me, obviously based on consumer research, obviously based on what shoppers think, people going to supermarkets, like quick service locations. It seems to me that the shift still lies with different types of flavoured Coke, but the original still seems to win out on top as the classic choice.
Yeah, and it's interesting because just reading the poll and what was mentioned there as well. But yeah, I have to say, really, I'm not surprised looking at the results. So it looks like the flavour, the next flavour was the original version came in chop. I mean, not surprising because everyone tends to go for the original anyway. Coke Zero Sugar was, second, not surprising as well. And then you get to the more vanilla sort of flavoured drinks. Was like the vanilla, cherry, lemon. Diet Coke doesn't seem to be well liked actually, including Sprite, Fanta, and Schweppes as well. I mean, just for the record, I do not drink any of these. I don't like Coke. I don't like fizzy drinks at all, to be fair. But I'm also not surprised, just looking at the assessment, that okay, what a weird advert, but that that the original Coke's out on top because I think people would tend to like the original. Nothing has beaten the original Coke, and I'm not surprised by that.
It depends what you want. Do you want a zero sugar drink? Do you want a drink full of sugar? That's the question. You know, it's an interesting debate. You know, an interesting discussion. People have their opinions. You know, they go into a supermarket. They find. I mean, Zach as well. They've started bringing out obviously this new branding recently with all like the names on. And I've read up some interesting comments about them.
Yeah, interesting. And I guess all the brands together. I mean, it's hard to think of, you know, alternatives to it. I mean, it's just well loved, and I think you struggle to get alternative. Really, it's just not. It's not in the market. It's not very difficult. I mean, you got your Pepsi and all that sort of thing as well, but like Coca-Cola seems to lead the way quite well. And when you put you sell the original, you just yeah, it does well.
Yeah, it's one of them things. Like, I feel like as well when you update a classic fizzy drink like with new branding, it can really change whether the appeal and the target audience that they go for. I mean, the appeal is the most important thing with it. You know, if people are going to be willing to buy that product off a supermarket shelf, they need to obviously have eye-catching branding that's going to attend. Obviously, they know that the recent Diet Cokes have got This My Taste. You know, that Diet Coke break. They had obviously the Coca-Cola with the names on them. But they do all these campaigns, you know, obviously supermarkets. I think Pepsi Max has been on promotion at the moment in loads of supermarkets, like Tesco, Sainsbury's, other stores. So, you know, Coca-Cola obviously still is popular. You obviously buy it multi-packs, you can buy it as a bottle. Let me know, guys, in the comments whether you prefer it out of the bottle or in a can. Let me know on that one, because clearly there's a lot of debate on whether that actually is true or not. So, yeah, certainly an interesting taste on the perception of fizzy drinks. Certainly, you know, during the warm weather, I mean, a lot of people will be grabbing them. So, yeah, water, fizzy drinks, you know, anything that's going to keep them cool. So, yeah, that's all I'm going to say on that as well. And certainly debate around this is going to be interesting. Anyway, it's coming up towards the end of the show now, unfortunately, as well. Obviously, next week, obviously, Zach's at the British Grand Prix. So, you know, there will be some changes coming to the podcast. Obviously, I will be, obviously, yeah, obviously next Thursday, just to confirm that, guys. I mean, Zach, obviously, you know, going to Silverstone next week.
Yeah, I may or may not be
guys
on.
that's not been Silverstone. Obviously, Zach, you've been before. Any of you guys that have not been Silverstone, obviously, you've been last year for the British Grand Prix. In terms of, obviously, it's an F1 weekend. What is your experience of F1, obviously, last year? And what do you think for people going, particularly the new visitors? What do you think they will learn going to an F1 race weekend?
Yeah, no, I think it'd be great. I mean, it'd be fantastic. I obviously went for F1 day last year. This year, I'll be going for full 3 of them. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, it's a great experience. I mean, it's a nice experience as well. I mean, you got a lot. You got your main stages. You can see your drivers as well. You got all the shops as well. You got. I mean, depending on your experience, but I think it'd be a great experience personally as well. I don't know about car parking if you're there, if you don't camp, for example, whilst I'm camping. But if you don't camp, for example, the car parking last year was a bit of a pain in the ass. They weren't very organised at all. I think I saw a lot of complaints about that last year. So that's one thing I'd be sort of preparing yourself for is there. Get prepared. Try and get your parking ticket, not your parking fine ticket, but your pre-parking ticket. And yeah, just it's a great experience overall. I'm sure you're all going to really like it. Bring your poncho if it rains. Bring your umbrellas. But yeah, you're going to get in a lot of entertainment. There's got F1, F2, F3, F4 all on stage coming up as well. Yeah, and I'm looking forward to it. Now, obviously, I may or may not be doing this next week. It depends on how I feel and how tired I am preparing things. I got to prepare and everything as well. But yeah, you may or may not see me on Wednesday night, depending on what happens. So yeah, I will make a decision on the day on whether I've done all my preparation, how tired I am, and yeah, whether I can be in your company next week. Well, I may be, I may not be, but we'll see. But otherwise, I will be enjoying my time, so don't worry.
I was going to say it's going to get more complicated the following week because I'm away. I'm at Goodwood Festival Speed the following week, so it's certainly going to be complicated to get this show filmed in terms of how we're going to be able to film this show. But obviously, guys, if I can do a Thursday night, I will try and still, even if it's a remote location I'm from, try and get this show out for you guys. But yes, the following week I'm at Goodwood. I mean, wow, good. Everything's kicking off in summer now, isn't it? Bloody hell, concerts, motorsport. Obviously, guys, if you are heading to Silverstone next weekend, enjoy the event. There'll be lots of action at Silverstone. Obviously, I'm not going to until September, obviously, for the British Touring Car Championship. So, I've got a little bit longer to wait. But trust me, it's great. And Zach, obviously, last year's British Grand Prix was obviously won by Lewis Hamilton. What do you expect for the 2025 edition? Obviously, it's 75 years since F1, obviously, took last race there back in 1950, This year's going to be a big year for the teams, obviously, with it being the 75th anniversary of the sport, particularly coming back home to where it raced all those years ago.
Well, yeah, I mean, Silverstone every year is exciting. You expect the Red Bull McLaren battles to be in effect, really. I don't know about the weather, what it would be like. We'll have to see in a week's time. But expect a lot of fun. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, so that's obviously next weekend, Sunday, the 6th of July. You can watch free practice available. And I believe, is it Channel 4 streaming next weekend?
Yeah, Channel 4, it gets its only live race of the year. So it's obviously the British race, they'll get that live. They'll show everything. So obviously you can, if you want to watch on Sky, it'll be able on Sky Sports as well as usual. So if you prefer watching on Sky, then you got your choice. You got your choices for this weekend. Next weekend as well.
Yep, so Channel 4 certainly will be coming in handy for me. So that's all I'm going to say on that one. Anyway, guys, that is it for the Tonight Show podcast for today, the 26th of June. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you again next time for another edition of the show. Take care and good night.